What's up, Facebook family? Hey, this is MB Mike Barrow, and I got my nephew here, baby. EJ
Uncle Mike, what's
German,
good?
you see the name, don't get it twisted, baby. Hey, EJ, man, welcome to the show.
Happy to be here. Thank you for having me. Saw you had the opportunity for family to hop on and talk sports. I'm like, okay, I can do that. I can talk sports anytime, any day.
Yeah, no doubt, man. And that's the thing. My man Klew, all right, enjoying his time off with his family. Man, hey, he needs a time off. That joker worked hard, did a great job with the Allen Houston show. Oh my God. Klew put his hands in it, man. He did it from beginning to the end. It was outstanding show, man, being able to give honor where honors due. My man Allen Houston, the first family of basketball. Oh my God, amazing show, amazing time. Man, having good time with good people, man. Man, between Charlie Ward and Allen Houston, man, those two guys back to back, New York Knicks, man, they outstanding. They're just like Wonder Twin, man. They different personalities, the point guard and the shooting guard, but all of them, man, about men with great character, man. Just EJ, man. I was sitting there with Allen Houston. And man, I just kept thinking about he came this thing with Fizzle, which is like, man, it's an acronym for faith, integrity, sacrifice, leadership, legacy, man. That's his foundation. That's one of his programs. And EJ, man, it's just like with him right now, man, this dude made so much money, right? That he don't have to do what he's doing, but he's doing it. Like he don't have to be on there trying to impress anybody, you know? He can take his money and his 7 kids and his beautiful family and go off in the sunset and just take care of his business. But this dude is committed on helping others. He's committed on like making a difference. It's so important to him. And it's just not him. It's his whole entire family, from Big Bubba with 15 grandkids to his mama, to him, to his sisters. It's just all in his DNA, man. I was so impressed with him and what he was all about. Hold on a second. We got another cousin cuz that just came on, man. We got my man. What's up, D. Haven?
What's up, Mike? What's up, EJ?
D, what's up, man?
What's up? Can y'all see me? Let me see. I'll turn on my light. There we go.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, we can see you probably need a new light, man.
Let me check.
Oh, there you go. There you go. My man D. Haven, what you representing there, man?
No,
San Francisco jersey.
Oh, you already know what he's representing. You already know.
Hey, keep the lights off, man. We don't want to see no 49er jersey.
You know what I'm representing.
Hey, you need some more light, D. Haven. You need some more light in that room.
Light for y'all. Hold
on. Yeah, get some light, man. Man, we need to black out that jersey though. I'm gonna switch something up. We need to black out that jersey. You know what I'm saying?
Still.
Man, there you go. There you go. Oh, you went dark again. There you go.
There. Okay.
Hey, so DeHaven, welcome, man. That's my cousin DeHaven right there. Got my nephew EJ, man. It's a family reunion going on right here. Bro, I still can't see you too good. I see that shining forehead. That forehead is shining.
let me come back in. Let me try to find a better place.
Okay, we'll hold it down for you. Oh, it's better when you're up close right there. That's good.
Okay.
That's a whole lot better.
Y'all can't see.
Hey, so anyway, DeHaven, I was just telling about our last show. We had Allen Houston. We had him on a Friday night sit down. And man, I was just telling EJ just how impressed I was with him, you know, with all he's doing. I mean, this dude was an all-star basketball player, all right, working the front office with the Knicks, all right. But the most important thing, one of the things I was this just stood out to me was just his commitment to help others. He's got this Allen Houston Legacy Foundation, and one of the programs is called Fizzle. And basically, man, it does so many different programs. I'm not even doing it a justice, but the acronym for Fizzle me is faith, integrity, sacrifice, leadership, and legacy. And this dude is trying to make an impact in other people's lives. And I was saying, man, this dude made multi-million, hundreds of million dollars, right? Yeah. And this dude he got 7 kids. I mean, good Lord, he ain't got time for that, but he's still making a difference, right? Or committed to helping others, you know?
Yep.
And he don't have, he's not in the spotlight. It's not, sometimes athletes, because they feel the pressure, they got so much money, they current players, they got to do this, they got to do the football camp, they got to do this. No, Allen, man, this is in his DNA. This is who he is, and he get it honestly because his parents are the same way, man. I was really impressed with them. They're like Obama was obviously Obama. They're like the first family of basketball.
Talking about Wade and them out of Knoxville. He used to coach at University of Tennessee.
His dad was the first black coach at the University of Tennessee.
Yeah, Wade,
I think one of the first black players at University of Louisville, right? Yep. His mom, they got one of the largest minority supply companies in the United North America, right? I mean, they don't have to help anybody, I mean, they could selfishly, like, we got ours, peace out, we take care of ours. But no, they are committed from A to Z to help other people. And I was so impressed about that when I sat down and did the interview, man. I was just amazed how much, how important helping others was to them,
That's awesome. Yeah, I actually know his cousin, so Al Houston's cousin. So, and a couple of
people. Oh, you do?
Yeah, a couple of people that used to went to University of Tennessee.
Wow.
Really great guy, humble, and that's excellent. That is excellent.
And you hear about that because a lot of times, with athletes, we think about the camps. We do the normal stuff. We do the camps. We do the celebrity basketball game, and nothing wrong with that. But this guy's taking it to another level. Him and the Father Knows Best. I mean, I was so impressed. It was a wake-up call for me because we all could do more. Yeah. I know in my hometown and homestead, I need to do more, and they're doing more, or they're basically like God's giving us some talent, and they're taking their talents to the max, man. They're trying to make an impact. I was really impressed with them. But one thing, man, let's jump on this, man. Hey, I want to dig into, I sent you guys an article talking about how the MAC, all right, right now I'm in Columbus, Ohio, right? Hey, the stepsister, the MAC conference to the Big Ten. I'm in Buckeye territory. They stole the title from UM. All right, I got love for Ohio State.
Hold up, we can't have love after they cheated on that pass interference call back.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard. Y'all know
302.
Only,
when they cheated on that pass interference call, you can't have love for the bad guys.
They stole it from them. They stole it from us.
That was 2 in a row for the UM.
I know. We could have rolled that thing with 6. We could have kept it rolling, but we got robbed, man. I wish instant replay, that delayed flag that came out 10 seconds or a minute. Look, we were celebrating. It was confetti on the field, and they cheated us. Right? They stole it from us. My wife is from Columbus, and she can't wear any Ohio State Buckeye stuff in the house. That's how I feel, right? But my boy was the head coach, Urban Meyer, over there.
Okay.
And then I got some coaches on there. So, and then one of my boys, Troy Vincent, his son, Big Baby, beat defensive line for there. So I got a little bit of love, but I'm still hurt. All right? But I'm going to talk about them in a minute. But right now, the Big Ten Conference Players United, but the MAC-10, the MAC Conference came out saying, hey, man, we ain't playing around with it, all right? We're postponing the fall sports into the spring, all right? And we're doing the right thing. So what do y'all feel on that? What's your thoughts on the MAC? All right, first right now, FBS Conference, to postpone their sports, fall sports. What's your thoughts on that, guys?
Go ahead, EJ. You can take that first.
I mean, I feel like it opens the floodgates, And then when you get to the point, okay, this conference is playing, but this conference isn't, and then the players are talking, so it's like, okay, is it this? Is it that? It just opens the floodgates and I don't know if y'all saw what's happening in the Pac-12, but a lot of the players in the Pac-12 are getting together and starting to realize that hey, this doesn't happen without us. Right. So I think you get one set of players that do it, other set of players are like, okay, and then it just creates a snowball, and then before you know it, I mean, the players don't want to play, and we can't play, So I think it's just going to set the precedent for other conferences. And then once all the smaller conferences do it, and it's just the big conferences left, I mean, of course, they have the most money to lose, so there's that. But I mean, I feel like we should just see how the NFL handles it, and then I like how they postponed it to spring. So see how the NFL handles it. Maybe college can take something from it, learn from it, and then apply it towards the spring. You know, that's what I think personally would be the best course of action.
No doubt, no doubt. We'll jump in there, DeHaven. What's your thoughts?
Yeah, I agree as well. I mean, it's about the health of these student athletes.
Exactly.
Coronavirus is real. Cases are growing. America right now, we're kind of behind in our handling of the virus with cases spiking. So right now, I mean, should colleges be playing football like EJ, you said, the big Power Five? They have the most money. They'll have the most to lose. But I mean, I don't know if how they're going to pull this off.
Right.
See that, if you don't play in a bubble like the NBA, see what's happening with Major League Baseball, 16, 17 cancellations already. So kids, traveling state to state, even if it's in conference games, what's the difference? You still are playing other teams in other places and putting kids at risk. And that's what the Power Five are doing. So I applaud the MAC for that because they're saying we're going to put the student athletes' health first and foremost before worrying about revenue from sports. We can delay it until we get a better situation to handle it in America. So I think that's a great move for the MAC conference.
Hey, no doubt. I commend the MAC for doing it, regardless if their true motivation is the player safety. That's one of the reasons. That's the reason they gave, right? But obviously, we know you also got to follow the money trail. And I think what's happening with the MAC. All right, the MAC conference don't have the deep pockets that the SEC have. So when you look at the testings and the requirements that got to be in place, right, the MACs probably look at it like, man, we can't afford this. In poker, right, you got to know when to hold them and you got to know when to fold them. And I think when they looked at that financially, how like, man, the SEC they got the deep pockets, the Power Five conference, they got the deep pockets. They could do this, they could do that. They could put in more safety restrictions or guidelines and things like that to make sure that give themselves the best chance of doing it. And from a MAC, from a cost standpoint, they can't do that. But obviously, right, let's say it is the true intentions. Let's say that, the reason why they did it is because the player's health, right? Because of player safety. And I commend them for it, right? And I'm like, man, they're the first conference or league to do it. And I think, like EJ say, I think it's going to be a snowball effect because right now, man, we're deluding ourselves. I'm trying to figure out, okay, if the coronavirus came in March and it forced us to shut down, right? Forced college sports to shut down. What has happened since March to now that say give us a green light? Like, hey, let's give it a try. Right? The death toll increase, restrictions are higher, right? I mean, death tolls are increased. No cure has been found. Okay, we got more testing available. Okay, we got more respiratory. But what has happened to give us the comfort level of saying it's okay, guys? We can go out and play now. We got this thing under control. We're still trying to figure it out. And when you look at it, right, what we're actually finding out is more alarming. It's an offensive lineman from Indiana University. His mama went to Twitter or Facebook, and she wrote on there how her son, the same thing happened. They came to Indiana. They did the testing. He was negative. They went through voluntary workout. He got infected with the coronavirus, him and his teammates, and this guy now is fighting for his life. And in addition to that, right, he also, because of the coronavirus, they're finding out now that it could cause some heart issues.
Yep.
So I'm like, what are we doing? Right?
Exactly.
What are we doing? Like you say, if the student athletes are so important, if it's so important to you, then it's a no-brainer. What medical doctor, no different than I know a couple friends of mine, right, that they had medical issues and they maybe found a heart murmur, found a heart issue, and they wanted to play so bad, and they had to go see different doctors over and over again to try to find one that would sign off on it. I want to see the doctor would sign off on this. because all of them say, oh, you know what? We go to our medical advisors, and our medical advisors say, da 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 da. Like, bull crap. You're like Donald Trump. What's my man in the White House who Donald Trump now? He's giving that dude the Heisman. Basically,
Dr. Fauci. Dr. Fauci.
Yeah, and that's what they're doing. They're giving advice. I'm curious. I want to be in that meeting, and that's what the players are saying. Like EJ, like you mentioned, like the Pac-10, we are united, and now the Big Ten did the same thing. We are united, and they want a seat at the table. They want to make sure that they're being protected. And one of the things that they're asking for, right, guys, they're saying that look. Right now, they notice it's inconsistent testing. It's nothing that's comprehensive. It's nothing that's uniform across the different universities. So where Ohio State Buckeyes, I'm going to get to them, I'm calling them the Motisa tribe because they say, oh, no curveballs. We're good with what Ohio State testing us, right? They good. We not sick, but we good. We ain't got no problems with nothing, right? They're good with that. While everybody else is saying, no, man, we need more testing. We need everybody to be on the same page. Because when we talk to the players throughout the leagues or throughout the conference, some people only got tested when they first came in. Some people are testing players twice a week. Some people are just once, right? And so they want to know, like, man, we need some strict guidelines and we need some guys to follow through. In addition on that, if we do get the COVID-19, we need you guys to also pay for our medical bills with no cost to us, right? And then we want to make sure that, hey, that we got 6 years of additional coverage once our eligibility runs up. So I love the fact the players, D-Haven, you're a lawyer, right? I love the fact that the players are united together, all right, and they're letting their voice be heard. And the key word is united together. Now, that Motisa tribe at Ohio State Buckeyes, man, shame on you, right? Even if it is good, at least say, yeah, we support you. They came out, no, we good. Go ahead, and what y'all got to say about that?
No, I mean that's a great point. That's a great point, Michael. I mean, like I said, it's going to be tough for them to pull this off with inconsistent testing across different landscapes. Even if you play in-conference games, I mean, within the conference, these are state-funded universities, so the money might not be the same, for the schools at Mississippi versus the schools in Georgia or what. I mean, SEC, the Big Ten, or whatever. Even if you play each other, you still have to have standard policies, and I just don't see. I think it's going to be really difficult. I love the fact of what the Pac-12 players are doing. I think they've taken some note, kind of not just with the coronavirus, health and safety, but they've taken notes from the NBA. They want Black Lives Matter on the field. I think that's important. I think, this is a time where traditionally college athletes, I don't know if they've really stepped up and had a voice, and this is opportune time for them to come out now and band together. They don't get paid. I mean, that's a controversy in and of itself, but they generate millions and millions for these universities, and you're going to ask them to go put their lives at risk. No, they need to band together. They don't have an NFLPA or anything like that. They have to band together themselves and fight for what's right if they're going to put their lives on the line to make these schools millions of dollars for us to have football in the fall.
Yeah, and no doubt, and you said it so well. I don't know if they want the NBA NFL representation. They may need to follow the NBA.
Right. NBA got it right.
But you're right, though, right? I think in 2014 and 15, Northwestern University tried to step up and do some type of collaboration, and they was trying to deal with the same issue. They wanted long-term care. They wanted assurance, basically assurance of educational right, a guarantee for injury. They also wanted the transfer rules, which is now being implemented in 2018. They also want to increase scholarship money and stuff like that. And then they kind of hit on the likeness and stuff, So when you look at it, right, you're right. And that they need a voice. They need to be united. They need their own association on that level because you're right, because they're the hands and feet of college football. A lot of times right now, we use that student athletes to label them or box them in the corner whenever they ask, well, we need to get paid or we need to do this. Well, you got your education. We paying for your scholarship. But it doesn't compare to the millions of dollars. I think overall, if I'm not mistaken, from a Pac-12 standpoint, they're generating $530 million of revenue, right?
A lot.
Million of dollars of revenue, right? And now you're asking them to risk their life, and then they're the university is just greed. They're trying to. I heard based on what article I read, they're trying to get them to sign a COVID-19 liability waiver. Come on, man. Come on. You want me to risk my life, right? And all this, and then you want me to sign a waiver? Good Lord, it's like they try to take everything, take the shoelaces out your shoe. Right? They try to do it all. I mean, what's your thoughts on that, guys?
Go ahead, EJ.
It just makes it like more obvious than ever that like that's all they care about at the end. Like that's all they care about, you know. Like this gentleman Rick said, a football season is not worth the death of one student. It's just not worth it. You know, like, you know, you're putting these boys through this, you're making them sign a waiver. Like, I'm glad that they're finally starting to realize, like, hey, if we band together, like, we have a voice, you know, because like in football, kind of like a culture, it is like, you know, you go through it, like, but if we band together, this school, that school, this school, that school, oh wait, y'all ain't testing as much as they testing. Oh, we can test it every day. How much are you getting tested? Once a week? Oh, I don't even get tested at all. It's just like it adds up. And then I just really feel like players now more than ever just need to be like, nah, we're not doing this until we get what we want. And like you said, Uncle Mike, like they have their voice is being heard like now more than ever. So it's like they need to take advantage of that and use that. That's really what I think they need to do.
Right. And you know what? Well said. And then my man Adam right here, he said the black and brown people are much more vulnerable to the virus than anyone, right? And then I love what Adam said right here. He said, if you're not sitting at the table, then you're on the menu. Right? If you're not sitting at the table, then you're on the menu. Hey, what's up, D? I got my other cousin D right here, Demeek, what's up, baby? How you doing?
Oh man, I'm feeling good. How y'all doing?
Good.
We doing good, man. We doing good. Hey, we were just sitting here talking about how the players united from the Pac-12, right? We're united, and they went to the commissioner or sent the letter, and they was like, "Look, man, if our demand's not met, we out," right? And basically they're asking for a uniformity safety plan because they're the one they want to play, and the guy was like, "Well, just opt out." No, we want to play. But we're asking that, you know, you improve our work condition. This ain't no Nike sweatshop, right? Put some regulations in place that we want to play. They want to play, but they got some demands, which is rightfully so. And then the Big 10, followed suit with some similar demands. So that's what we were talking about right now. Any thoughts on that, D, about what you think?
Yeah, I mean, anytime you're an athlete, the coaches teach leadership. The school teaches leadership, administration teaches leadership. So now they got it. They're taking leadership role, and this is what the young players have to do. So they're not going to be used as a piece of meat. They got to go out there and they got to advocate for themselves. Because if we don't advocate for ourselves, nobody's going to advocate for us. So I'm real proud of the young kids stepping up because they was called the lost generation. They didn't see struggle, but yeah, they seeing struggle and they responding in a positive way. This is what you're supposed to do. Use your voice because they can't do anything without the athletes. So
exactly,
with all the money that's being generated, that goes on for generations and it doesn't touch athletes unless they make it to the pros, yeah, they got to get something worthwhile to put themselves out there. And they're doing it for the love of the game. And when you got the passion and you want to go out there and play, that's all you're thinking about. But when you walk back in that house, you're putting people at risk. You're putting yourself at risk. And you have to consider that.
Mm-hmm.
So for the young folks to be doing this at this age, I find that very unselfish because usually at that age, people are selfish, and they're taking major responsibility. So whatever the coaches are preaching to them, they're getting it, and I applaud them.
Yeah. Looks like he froze.
It looks like his connection froze up.
Yeah. No, that was well said, D. I definitely agree with you. Especially the part that they put other people's at risk when they go home, mothers and fathers. I know you've been trying to do high school sports in Georgia, and actually two high school parents of a high school football player, they actually died. His son was practicing football. He went home. He had COVID, and it's just not worth it because you put everyone else at risk as well. So.
Yeah, no doubt. What's your thoughts on as far as the season, right? I mean, we talked about that, man. And EJ, you kind of mentioned the NFL kind of taking the lead, but I mean, like I said earlier, what has happened since Mars that to give them the green light that we should be playing? I mean, should even be a discussion. Can you hear me? Go ahead.
Yeah. I feel like there's a couple different models so far because the NBA started obviously, and then baseball started. I feel like we want to look at the NBA because the NBA got it right, quote unquote. We want to look at them and be like, oh yeah, we can do it just like them, but you can't do it just like them. I feel like happening in baseball is a closer like comparison to what restarting ball is going to be like, because you can't it's apples, There's people involved, there's a lot. I mean, as you know way more about this than I do, from your experience, like football and basketball, like you can't, it's apples and oranges. Like, I don't even know how the NFL is going to get it right, honestly.
Right. I mean, the thing about the NBA, you mentioned them, I love what they're doing. I mean, but basically they're showing, because right now they retest and they have 0 positive tests, right? Because what they did was they put the guys in the bubble, And down in where you at, EJ, in Orlando, right? And so to me, that's the only way you can make this happen, because it's just so many other factors that you can't control. When you talk about college football, then now the students, right? I think Ohio State say one of the players, Justin Fields, say, man, I'm concerned about when we let the students back, because the students acting like ain't nothing happening, and now they got to go to class and all that stuff. You know what I'm saying? And now you can get affected that way. It's just too many variables that you can't control. To me, the only way to have a chance of playing is to put this thing in a bubble, know? But it's just too many people to try to do that, to get that done. So that's why I'm saying that even the NFL is just too many. And I'm like, man, that's the only way I see it is possibly being happening if they follow the NBA suit and put guys in the bubble. But I don't know. I don't think that can happen. Demeek, what's your thoughts on it, man? What's your thoughts on that? Can you hear me?
Or were you asking D?
I'm asking my cousin Dave.
Hey, I'm barely hearing you. You breaking up, man.
I'm breaking up? Okay. Bless you. DeHaven, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, go ahead and answer that question. Jump in there.
I mean, I guess the thing with, trying to put the players, well, number one, with the college students coming back, I think you're right. I mean, I don't know even how they're going to even with virtual or college students come back, because there's so many people on campus.
Right.
With the NFL, I mean, my concern is just about the integrity and competitive nature of the game. What happens if a star player runs through 10 or 12 players on an NFL team, and that star player can't play? There's only 16 games, so how will cancellations work? Like the MLB, I think they're adding games and they play so many more games. But in the 16 game season, I mean, what are you going to add so many slots to injured reserve or the COVID reserve? But what if that superstar quarterback, happens to be impacted, that superstar wide receiver, Michael, that superstar linebacker, superstar linebacker.
What they gonna do? What they gonna do if Patrick Mahomes catch COVID?
Yeah, I mean, but I mean, your TV ratings. I mean, we don't want to see the second string. We want to see Mahomes. We want to see, all the stars, Lamar Jackson and all those stars out there. So what happens if there is a breakout? That team's not going to play for several weeks. So I just think that they got a tall ask, especially with some stadiums, some states allowing fans, some states are not. In football, to me, home field advantage is the biggest. In any other sport, home field advantage I think means the most, especially in professional football and college football. Right. So I mean, so the competitive balance there. If California doesn't allow fans, but say one of the Texas does, I think allowing 50% capacity. I mean, I think it's really could be it really could mess up the integrity.
That's still a lot of people.
Yeah,
Right.
still. Jerry Jones, 40,000. That's 40,000. But like I said, the Cowboys can play with home fans, but the Niners can't. That's not. I don't know. It's something different, and I think the world just needs to adjust, and we need to put health and safety first before and know more about the virus before we bring or have a vaccine before we bring football back. I think people want some sense of normalcy, so that's why they're trying to push it on us because we've been quarantined. We want to see, we want the world to go on as it is, but the world will never be the same after this, and that's just the bottom line.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. No doubt. This ain't going away until we find a cure or find a solution. Hey, speaking of somebody that I feel like they're doing a good job. We mentioned them earlier with the NBA. Hey, let's talk about the NBA, man. Let's talk about their restart season, right? Yeah. Hey, who are you guys picked to win it all this year in the NBA? Who you think?
Go ahead, EJ.
I mean, I got the Lakers, bro. I mean, not like fan cheering, rooting for them, but I mean, they just look like even though they've been dropping a few recently, they just look like they're just poised to take it. I don't know if the Clippers can pull the chemistry together in time, to make it happen in a 7-game series, And then, I mean, the Bucks are good coming out of the East. They got Giannis. That boy's a beast. But I don't know, man. It just feels like this is the year that the Lakers take it.
Yeah, I like the Clippers actually. I mean, I've watched a lot of the restart games, and I'm not saying LeBron is slowing down, but I think the layoff might have hurt someone like LeBron. He said it. He's like, I like to be in rhythm. And the layoff has kind of affected him. I think some of the things one of the things that the Lakers did, I thought was different was they bought in J.R. Smith and Dion Waiters, who are essentially the same person. They kind of miss Rondo, so LeBron have to hold the ball. But once the Clippers get Montrezl Harrell back, that's a 19-point game score. They're just a lot deeper. Yeah. So that'd be my thing. I think they're a little bit deeper. And then the question is, if the Lakers have to match up against Portland in the first round, that could take the Lakers need to breeze through the first 2 rounds if they're going to eventually meet up with the Clippers. They can't go 6 games or 7 games with a team like Portland. They have to, beat those guys 4-0 to keep LeBron fresh. I mean, what he's done is amazing. 17th year MVP candidate, but it's just not easy. Yeah, it's not going to be easy. And then to your point with the Bucks, I like the Bucks as well coming out the East. It's just that Chris Middleton has to be that. He has to be not a good player or not a decent all-star. He has to be a superstar. Step up. He has to be that second superstar. But when they collapse on Giannis in the paint, Chris Middleton has to hit those jumpers, and Bledsoe has to play good for them.
Right. No, well said, D, and I definitely agree. I think in the West, man, I'm jumping on that Lakers bandwagon. Okay. I like the Clippers, but I'm just concerned what you just said. Not just even before the COVID. I mean, it was hard for them to get all the players on the court at the same time. Yeah. Whether it's Kawhi Leonard being, taking his time out, or Paul George injured, or just this and that. I mean, and then even now, I mean, obviously they've been dealing with some real issues. Montez, he lost his grandma, I believe, and Lou lost his grandfather, and so they've been dealing. And then Patrick Beverly has been hurt as well. I mean, but as far as it, I just don't know if it's enough time with the short season like this. Can they get on the court and gel quick enough to handle the Lakers? And I like what the Lakers are doing. You mentioned about J.R. Smith, and I like that move just for the sake of having somebody that's LeBron already accustomed with, familiarity. You know what I'm saying? So it should be an easy transition for JR, right, to come in and do his role and make something happen. Long as he don't try to call a timeout.
Well, you got to worry about his defense, though. See, Avery Bradley, essentially you have Waiters and JR replacing Avery Bradley. Avery Bradley could have guarded either Kawhi. I'm not saying he could have guarded, but he would have been a decent defender on Kawhi or Paul George. The key to the Clippers is going to be, can Paul George stay consistent throughout a 7-game series? In the past, when he was with Indiana, Oklahoma City, he'll have a 40-point game in a playoff game, and then the next game he'll have 12 or 13 points.
Go ahead, EJ. I'm sorry.
No, I was just adding on to D said, and then he'll disappear. He has a reputation for doing that, disappearing in the playoffs.
And he can't.
I don't know. I know maybe against everybody else, but I don't know. I'm still scarred when they played when he was at the Pacers and they played the Heat, man. That was his breakout party. You know what I'm saying? So it's something about when you play Bron, baby.
Yeah.
When you play Bron and now you add AD and you play the Lakers. I mean, it's like, man, it's your time to shine. You know what I'm saying? Like they get everybody A game, you know? And so I don't know, but I think I like what you're saying in the West. It's also based on matchups. Because one team that can catch on fire that could take out either the Lakers or the Clippers, I think, is the Rockets. You know, the Rockets, because of those two guys they have, man, they can get on fire, and they're a hard matchup for a lot of people. And I don't think nobody on the Lakers or the Clippers, probably a little bit more. The Clippers got more guys defensively that can handle them. But the Lakers, man, I don't see how they don't have anybody that can match up with Russell Westbrook and James Harden, you know, consistently, you know, when you talk about defensive guys, you know. So I think it's like a boxing match. It's all about styles and matchup. But like I said, I like the Lakers in the West, and then the East. I mean, you got to go with the Greek Freak, you know, as far as what he's doing. But like you mentioned, man, I don't know if they consistently, Middleton, the guys around them, I'm concerned about their consistency, you know. One team that I like that's really surprised me, and when we talk about awards, I mean, their coach, Nurse, he gives my vote for Coach of the Year. I mean, anytime you lose your top player and you just win a championship, that's a recipe for disaster. You know, 9 out of 10 people, a coach used to tell me all the time, 9 out of 10 people could deal with failure, but only 1 out of 10 could deal with success. And for them to win the championship last year in the fashion they did, and still bounce back, lose Kawhi Leonard, and bounce back and unite in the way they're playing great team ball, man. So I see them as somebody that possibly can be a threat to the Buck in the East.
Yeah, I like to your point with the Rockets. I think this is different, and this could be a good year for James Harden because he has rest. We notice he takes on so much weight during the season, during the 82-game season, that he kind of fades in the playoffs, late in the playoffs. But now he's had 4 months off, so they could easily shock and beat anyone because he's rested. And Russell Westbrook is one of my favorite players. He plays with so much energy and emotion. He's just a dog. They have to be able to rebound though because they do go with the smaller lineup. So we'll see. They shoot the three obviously really well, but will they be able to rebound if they have to match up against the Lakers and AD or even someone like Denver with Jokic and just taller players. And in the East, great point, Michael. I love Toronto. No real superstar, but a bunch of good players that could beat you any given night. One night, Van Fleet can give you 35. Lowry can give you 30. Siakam can give you 30. Ibaka can give you 20, 18 or 20. Gasol can still win work. And Nick Nurse is just an excellent coach. Reminds me of a young Popovich. He doesn't have the Tim Duncans, but he just, his system seems to work. So I definitely like Toronto. And I think if Boston can put something together consistently, they could be dangerous as well out the East. Yeah,
no doubt. I think Tatum is starting to hit that next groove, get into his groove as a rising star, and he's consistently trying to play as well. Hey, now speaking of NBA, right? Who's your favorite to win the NBA MVP award, man? EJ, who's your favorite and why? Who you think is going to win it?
I think Giannis is going to win it because they're going off of before everything shut down. I mean, before everything shut down, the Bucks they had the best record in the NBA. I mean, he was averaging like 29 points a game. I think it was 29, 13, and 6, something like that. I mean, they were best defensive team in the NBA. Like he's just problems on the court. He's a problem on the court, and he's really these past couple seasons he's really started coming into his own and getting better and better and realizing how good he can really be. And it's like, man, Bron's in it every year, and it feels like every year he should win it. But I mean, Giannis Antetokounmpo is a problem, on both sides of the floor. And I just think they should just go ahead and give it to him 2 years in a row. I think he should be able to. I think he should win both the MVP and the Player of the Year. Only 2 other players have done that. Michael Jordan and Hakeem Olajuwon have done that. And I mean, it seems like it was forever ago, but people really forget how good the Bucks were like before everything shut down.
Right.
They were running away with the overall 1 seed before everything shut down.
Right.
Well,
what about you, DeHaven?
No, I piggyback on EJ. I think it's Giannis. With LeBron being very, very close with LeBron, did this year 26 or 25 and 10, leading the league in assists.
Yeah.
But I think LeBron's won 4 MVPs, and we're just so accustomed to that greatness. But Giannis, the 29 points, 13 rebounds, you take him off the Bucks, they're probably I think LeBron is a bona fide second superstar with AD. So I think probably the voters will look at that as well. But Giannis, I think they know that Giannis is so much better than anyone in the East, and probably so much better than the second player on his team that, obviously, and like you said, EJ, great point with the record before the shutdown, that Giannis, I think, is going to not run away, but he'll win the MVP again.
Yeah, and unfortunately, I agree. I mean, selfishly, I want Bron to win, man. I think, what you mean, 17 a season year in the NBA, still playing at elite level, and still getting it done. And we don't give him credit. I mean, because basically the Lakers, man, like the thing with the Freak, he pretty much playing with the same players, but Bron, man, is playing with a whole new cast for the most part, again adjusted to AD, again adjusted to that. And I think, in fact, leading the league in assists right now and just being an overall facilitator, doing what he needs to do to perform, and play at the high level. And then also just the fact of taking the Lakers, who haven't been in the playoffs for a while, and now they're the number 1 seed. I mean, I know if it's MVP is for most valuable player, but it should be most valuable player to their team, and it'll be LeBron. Well, even then, the Freak is. I mean, if you take the Freak from the Bucks is not going to be the same. But Bron is just so special. Like you said, DeHaven, though, I think AD also has taken some votes for him. So I think because of that, it's going to split it into some degree. And then the Freak is the guy. Now, let's talk about Rookie of the Year, man. Who's your vote, DeHaven, right now for the Rookie of the Year?
It's Ja, simply because, it would have been Zion if Zion had played the whole season. But I think obviously it's Ja because, Ja has played the whole season. And Zion was banged up and came back kind of late. So it's got to be Ja Morant with the Grizzlies.
No doubt. What about What about you, EJ?
I agree. It has to be Ja Morant. I mean, if Zion played the whole season, maybe we're not having a discussion. But Memphis. I mean, Memphis might sneak. We're talking about earlier a little bit about Portland. Maybe they having problems with the Lakers. Lakers having problems with Portland, but because of Ja Morant, the Grizzlies are looking like they probably going. They maybe not probably because there's still time left, and they're also close for that 8 seed. But Ja Morant is the reason why the Grizzlies are in playoff discussion. Like, period. That kid is balling, flying up and down the court, man. I love watching him play.
A young Russell Westbrook to me. He reminds me of a young, that's what I love about sports. You see players that, great players that are like almost towards the end or middle of the end of their career, and then you see the, the younger players coming in. Every player reminds me of a young Russell Westbrook.
No, he's definitely powerful, and he's definitely one of the reasons why the Grizzlies are barely holding on to that HC, especially now since they lost Jaren Jackson. He's really going to have to shoulder the load even more. And I think the NBA now also got that new format where they're going to do similar to what the NCAA does with the 16 versus 16. I guess it's the 8 versus 9th, little battle royal, I guess. They're going to get that done. But let's transition to Coach of the Year. I told you why I think hands down should win, the coach Nurse from Toronto Raptors. What you guys' thoughts on who should be Coach of the Year? I mean, you got the Bucks, right? Obviously, you got Toronto Raptor. You got Oklahoma Thunder. The job they're doing, they surprise everybody. Who's your vote? Who's your guys' vote for Coach of the Year?
Mine would be Budenholzer, but I think, like you said, Oklahoma, what Billy Donovan did when they were essentially, I'm not going to say they were trying to tank, but
right.
I'm not going to say they were trying to tank, but, that trade of Westbrook, I mean, it looked like they were doing a rebuild, and it hasn't been a rebuilding year. So I think what Billy Donovan did was amazing. He'd be close, and obviously Nick Nurse. But I think it's Budenholzer. I mean, I think he's been, because I live in Atlanta, so I've seen what he did with the 2015 Hawks, the 60-win, 60-win team. His system, he comes from that Popovich background. Just a great system. So, and I really like what Budenholzer has done with the Bucks. I think he should be coach of the year, with maybe Billy Donovan a close second, and then Nurse.
All right, what about you, EJ? What's your thoughts?
I actually agree with you, Uncle Mike. I think Nick Nurse should get it just because losing your star player, whatever, they're out east, but just losing your star player, everybody expected the Raptors to take a step back. And if you look at the numbers, you can make the argument they're actually a better team, which is crazy to say,
Right.
So I think he should win it, but I mean, Budenholzer's right there too. I wouldn't be, upset obviously if Budenholzer won it because everything you said, David, about just what he's been able to do, with the Milwaukee Bucks. So, but I think Nick Nurse should get it.
Right, no doubt. You got my vote. Hey, let's jump. I didn't mention this, but I want to see, man, you guys are so educated. I appreciate it. What about most improved player in the NBA? All right, you got Luke from Dallas, you got Bam from the Heat, and you got Brandon Ingram from the Pelicans, man. Who's your vote for most improved player?
I don't even know how Luka Doncic. He was already great.
I know, right?
I think it's not fair. I don't think you can put Luka. I think Luka came out and said he wanted to look at Devontae Graham, adding him to the ballot instead of himself. I mean, Luka's already dominant, and where I work, they love. I work with a lot of Europeans, so Luka is their Jordan now. So, I like Brandon Ingram. I think Brandon Ingram really stepped his game up. Actually, that was, people love playing for the Lakers, the marquee market. But for him, a kid from the small town of North Carolina, to go to, a smaller market, I think where he can get the ball, he can blossom. I think that was really good for him. And you can see, how he started to ascend. I'm a Duke fan, so of course I'm going to say Brandon Ingram. So.
No doubt. What about you, EJ? Any thoughts?
I mean, like you said, it's kind of unfair that Luka's in the category because he's quickly become one of my favorite players to watch play in the NBA just because I love his style of playing. He can do it all, Yeah. But Brandon Ingram, man, I've been paying more attention to him, because especially with Zion being gone, he had to step up, take more of a role. And then, like you said, playing in LA ain't for everybody. And I think him leaving LA and going to a smaller market was great for him, his development, and ultimately for his career. So I would say Brandon Ingram. Okay, if we're not counting Luka, man.
I think it's not fair to count Luka as the most.
No, they just trying to squeeze him in. Hey, now one thing that's not fair, man. Do they need to name the six-man award, man, after Lou Williams, man?
After Lou Will?
They need to do that?
No, they need to name it after Magic City.
I mean,
the Magic City six-man of the year. I'm just kidding.
Right, no doubt, man. Hey, the Lou Williams. They needed. You're right. They need to change it to Magic City six-man. Matter of fact, if you go in Magic City, he may have a trophy in there, man.
I'll go to Magic City, so I don't know.
No. Okay, you live in Atlanta, right?
I'll go in Magic City. I don't know what y'all talking about. I never had them good wings they got. I heard they had some good wings.
Hey, oh, bless his heart, man. My man, hey, he said, man, I got to take one for the team. I need some comfort food. He took comfort food to a whole new level, man. Hey, but what's your thoughts right now? Is he going to win it for a third time, Lou Williams, or would his teammate beat him out, Harold? Or the guy from Oklahoma City named Dennis. All right, who's your thought? Who's your vote for the six-man award?
Go ahead, EJ. You can take that one.
I like Montrez. He played at Louisville. I'm a Louisville dude, so I mean, I got
a little bias.
But I like what he brings. Like you can tell, the team just when he's there, when he's on the floor, the team just got that energy, got that little extra oomph to it, And that's usually what the six man is there for. So I feel like even if Lou Will did win it, he turned around and handed it to Montrezl Harrell, man. So
good point. I like Montrezl a lot. I think Lou will get it. Because essentially, he's really clutch and he scores a lot of points.
He scores a lot of points. Yep.
He scores a lot of points. Montrezl, I think, is averaging 19, which is no slouch in itself, especially coming off the bench. But Lou's instant offense, he really is the Clippers' probably third best player if you think about it.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, technically he should be starting, but he's like, nah, that's all right. I know I want my role. I'm good. You know,
Yeah, I won my sixth man award. Don't worry about it. I don't want to start.
Yeah. Now, all right. Now, last word, and I'll let you guys go, man. I appreciate your time. All right, we're gonna wrap it up with the defensive player of the year, man. Defensive, who you think, Rudy, the guy, you think he's gonna win it again? I mean, obviously, the way he was kissing those microphones, he didn't play good defense, you know, on that. Good Lord, you know. But we're gonna give him a second. He's about to get some hands laid on him by Mitchell. Mitchell's about to put some hands on him. All right, but that's what he should have played defense. He should get disqualified just because of that being so stupid. All right. But who's your thoughts on the defensive player of the year? I mean, is it him hands down? I think the guys that announced the finalists, you got Anthony Davis, who's a part of it. And I think also the Freak. I think the Freak is also part of the defense. He's a candidate for defensive player of the year as well, if I'm not mistaken. Who's your thoughts? Who you think's guys going to win that?
I think it's going to be the Freak, but Anthony Davis should be really, really close. He had a great defensive year, but I think it's going to go to the Freak.
Yeah, it's going to go to Giannis. I mean, the Bucks are leading the league in point differential. I mean, you could the dude's a problem on both sides of the floor. You know, just go ahead and give it to him. Just that length, man. He can guard every position. He's can rebound, you know, everything. His only slack really is his shot. But we're talking about defense right now. So I mean, defensive player of the year. I think it's him this year. But AD is a very, very close second. Very close second.
Had a really good defensive year.
Yeah, and a lot of times when you think about AD, not to say he's a liability on defense, but his offense is so skilled. I mean, this guy used to be a point guard in high school, you know. And you don't, when you think defensively, you don't think about him in that same category. But obviously, right, the coach and their coach, we should have mentioned him. He should have received some votes for coach of the year. He did a great job of putting those team together, because a lot of times when you, like I say, you have so many changing parts like that, and to get them to gel and play together as a team, you got to take your hats off to the coach as well, you know. But yeah, I think right now, I think the Freak should get it, and I think it'll be good for NBA, right? Because the last time they had somebody that won the Defensive Player of the Year and the Offensive MVP was Jordan and Hakeem Olajuwon, you know? And I think that'll be a good boost for them, you know, for him to get that type of recognition. Obviously, he's arguably one of the best players in the NBA, right, hands down. And now he's trying to becoming the face of the NBA. So I think having that hardware behind it would definitely help with them trying to become not just a national brand, but as you well know, the NBA is a worldwide brand, you know? So I think, hey guys, hey, I appreciate you guys coming on today, man. Roll call, baby, got family. Hey, EJ, man, why don't you tell, I know you're in the Orlando area, why don't you tell them what you got going on, man, with your business and what you're doing, man? Go ahead and give a shout out what you're doing.
I'm in mortgage business. I do mortgage loans. I'm licensed down here in Florida. Just helping people get in homes. You know, a lot of people are still working, fortunately, because of COVID, you know, and because of COVID, you know, the government has been doing their part to try to keep rates low to help stimulate make sure the housing market doesn't crash. Because, you know, if the housing market crashes, that's a big time problem. So, you know, rates are at an all-time low. So there's a lot of business, you know, we're staying busy. You know, I got my little 3-month-old baby girl keeping me busy, you know, Eli about to be 9. He starts 3rd grade tomorrow. So, you know, we're about to be busy with that, you know, just, yeah, man, that's it. Just working, you know, taking care of the family. You know, that's it.
All right. And I got to hook you up with Klew, because Klew, he's a realtor too, man. Y'all need to do some deals together. Hey, DeHaven, why don't you tell them what you got going on with yourself, man, down in the ATL, baby?
Yeah, just trying to stay out of Magic City, Michael. That's all. No, just working hard. You know, I'm in digital transformation innovation now, Porsche Cars North America. So hopefully people keep buying these cars and trying to make them smarter and better. Taking care of my daughter, Addison. She starts kindergarten next week. And I'm just excited. Hopefully my Niners can get back on top this year. We were so close last year. So if we do have a season, I don't know if we are or not, but I like the moves we've made, Trent Williams and a lot of other different moves. So excited about that, and just trying to stay blessed, stay healthy.
Man, now, okay. Well, first of all, let me be nice to you first. Congratulations on the wedding, right?
Thank you.
Congratulations, man.
Thank you.
All right, so I did my good part. Now, let me tack you about your Niners, though, man. What's up now? Now, you say you like the moves they made. I love the Trent Williams move, right? But do you love the Armstead trade versus Buckner, Britson? Do you love that?
Yeah, let me tell you why. I
don't love that. I know, honest. I don't. You give up your best player. I don't care, man. I don't like that move.
Michael, you were an NFL player. The salary cap, right?
I understand.
Armstead had 10.5 sacks last year. Buckner was going to command a salary that would have messed up other positions. The football, the salary cap, you have to manage that cap. And we have the best in Parag Maraf is the best salary cap manager in the game. And you got Kittle coming up on an extension. So you have to get rid of Buckner because you're not going to be able to pay everyone. Bosa's going to come up in 2 years when he's eligible after 21. So you keep Armstead and you get him, I think, at 17 average per year. But the first year salary cap it was only $6 million. Buckner would have commanded way more than that, and we just weren't going to be able to make his demands. And then John Lynch, becoming one of the best general managers in the game, drafted his replacement in Javon Kinlaw. And so I think it was a salary cap move because when you have a good team, and usually in NFL, there's only like a 3-year run that you can make because of the salary cap. And, we've made moves to trading Buckner is unfortunately a salary cap casualty, but that's how you stay good for the long term. The question is, it's an arms race now. Seattle's got Jamal Adams. There's talks they might get Antonio Brown, and that might be a problem. So we have to counterbalance them. It's back to the NFC West of 2011 through 2013. I love it. Let's go get the Hawks. I think we can. We got them last year for the first time in about 7, but we'll see. But it was a salary cap move, and I understand that because we want to sustain success over the long term, the Patriots model, not a 3-year run back in the Harbaugh days, and then we're all messed up. So.
See now y'all see why he's a lawyer. So he got great defense. He's ready to go. Great answer. I mean, but and I understand long term, you're definitely right. But anytime, man, you take who's the poster child for everything that you do right, who symbolized, and that's what Buckner was. He, far as run and pass, he played it well at elite level.
He did.
I said graciously, he's not to Aaron Donald level, but he was the next best thing. And I'm just a little leery anytime you give up somebody who's doing all the right things, and not to say Armstead not. I'm just a little leery of that anytime. Maybe he give you a hometown discount or whatnot, So I applaud the move. I don't know what happened behind the scenes. I don't know if they approached him first with that and say, hey, look, and he gave his demands, and it was like, child, please, we got to get him out. And if that was the case, they did an excellent job of making that happen. Man, and I know I'm trying to close, but, man, I love talking to you guys, man. One thing that come up, speaking of moves, what do you think about the Hopkins move from Texas to Arizona? What are you thinking about that?
Bill, maybe I should go for Bill O'Brien's guy.
I know.
I should have walked into that office the next day, and then you replace it with the same amount of money with Brandon Cooks.
Right.
You basically swap the money. That's befuddling, and it makes me mad because obviously Arizona's in our division. And they're obviously on the come up with that move. Go ahead, EJ. I've been doing, I get past what come out the NFC West. But go ahead.
They traded for a running back that's been inconsistent. Like he
running back was a second-round pick.
Years. Come on.
Yeah. Deshaun Watson should be really. I mean, he should be really, really upset.
He was punching air when he saw that. Absolutely.
Yeah, that's letting ego. I don't know what the issue is. Letting egos get in the way, man, or whatever. I mean, that's the ones, man. I mean, you got to keep the band together. You can't break up the band over that, man. That was crazy.
So, Michael, question for you: should the coach be the GM in that situation? The coach in Houston, Bill O'Brien, is the GM.
Yeah, exactly.
Unfettered power. Maybe he has. If they start losing, maybe he has an excuse to.
Well, you know what? I mean, the thing is that he's from that Belichick tree, right? Mm-hmm. And a lot of them try to duplicate what Bill Belichick is doing in New England, and you give them all that power. And then, unfortunately, what happened is, man, is that that these type of moves take place, where they try to be a little Bill, right? And they try to, create that Patriot way and get rid of the top players. Not to say I don't know what happened behind the scene with Hopkins, if he was a cancer or whatnot, but man, you tolerate him until you can replace him. And right now, you can't replace him. You can't replace the production that he did with the Houston Texans. I don't care how many times you trade for Cooks, you can't do that, Right. This dude is a baller, a bona fide, once in a generational type player that you gotta make it fit with the team. And I just think basically with all the stuff they did last year and how they came and seemed like they jumped over the hurdle and they took one step forward. Now I feel like with this move, they taking 3 steps backwards. But hey, another man trash is another man treasure. And the ones that benefit the most is Arizona Cardinals. That was a great move on their part. Getting a guy like Hopkins, and now you got Hopkins, and now you got Fitzgerald, and then now you got Murray. I mean, good Lord, they're clicking. Yeah, they're going to be great, man. And so obviously in the NFC West Conference, they got to make it hard for your 49ers.
If there is a week one, we'll see. It's going to be a week. I think we're supposed to open up against them, so we'll see how good. We'll test their mettle that first week.
Yeah, no doubt, man. Hey, cuz, well, listen, man. I know I feel like a preacher trying to close out and still couldn't close, man. I love hanging out with my cuz, baby, and my nephew, man. Hey, thank you guys for coming on, man. I really appreciate everything, man. We had a fun time. Hey, and for you guys that's watching out there, make sure you follow. All right, make sure you follow for those on Facebook, and for those on YouTube, make sure you subscribe. Hey, we got a great show coming up this upcoming Friday. You don't want to miss it. And then also on Wednesday, we're taking it to the streets, man, as well. So make sure you have your questions ready to go. All right, on behalf of MB and my boy Klew, and I got my cousin, I got my nephew, man. Hey, this is Sideline or Baseline, Take It to the Street fan edition, and we appreciate the love. Y'all have a great day. Take care. God bless. All right, have a good one, cuz. Appreciate y'all, man.
Thank you.